We are pleased to welcome in our next guest. He is a member, or the general manager, I should say, of the Montreal Jazz, the newest franchise of the National Basketball League of Canada. They've relocated from Laval by way of Quebec City as well. He's no stranger to this market, nor is he a stranger to this station. We welcome back to the program Pascal Jobin. Hey, Pascal, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Long time. Very good. Good to hear from you. Happy to have you back here in the city. I know you've been involved, obviously, with the Quebec team for a while. You've been involved in other basketball initiatives, and certainly when this team was in Quebec City as well. But I'm sure you're happy to be back in Montreal.
Oh, extremely happy. More so than anything else, to have a basketball team, professional basketball team in Montreal. You know, it's something that, and you've known me since the time I started the Matrix, that I believe in. I think is the next level of development for our players. To have a league, basically the same thing that you see almost all over the world, from Asia to Europe, even some leagues in Africa. So at the end of the day, Canada has been missing, and this is, to me, the best one I've seen so far. That there's been other teams or other league try, but this is the best one I've seen so far.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about the league from your perspective. The National Basketball League of Canada. The website, by the way, is nblcanada.pointstreaksites.com. They got to do something about that. But, but you know, from you go to the website, you have teams in interesting markets like Oshawa, Moncton, all over the place. We mentioned Ottawa's coming in next year. They seem to have some decent sponsors on the website. Tell me about the league and why, in your opinion, it's being run better and what makes it better.
Well, first of all, I'm not going to get into financial numbers, but the entry fee to be part of this league is if you're going to pay that money, you better run your team in the first place. You know what I mean? And I can say in the ABA, when they did the Matrix, the entry fee was $10,000. So when people put $10,000 and then they realize they have to spend about $200-300 to just run a team, that was kind of a big problem. A lot of the franchise people were trying to actually make money out of the team. Like, you know, in 2 weeks, if we don't have any fans, there's no more team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's totally different in this league. Pretty much everybody's budget, and it's kind of modeled after a lot of teams in Europe. A lot of teams in Europe, you have to show how you're going to pay for your season even before the season starts. So you have to have finances behind. So most of the owners of this league, they have other big businesses. You know, they're not trying to live off the team, basically, or you know, and 3 games, if we don't sell 10 tickets, we out of business. So first of all, that's the number one thing: ownership group, solidity, financial strength, and you're right when you talked about, if you look at London, Oshawa. Next year will be Ottawa. You look at Moncton, St. John, Summerside. The only team really in a big city is Montreal. Everybody else is in an area where actually, you know, the money for the entertainment is that becomes the entertainment. You know what I mean? When you look at our first weekend, we had about 1,800 people last November 18th.
That's fantastic.
But listen to that. If you just look at 50,000 people were at the Olympic Stadium for a football game. The night before, they packed the Sound Bell Center for GSP, for his fight. That weekend, the Montreal people in general spent at least $8 million on entertainment, sports entertainment. So for us to even have a couple of people in our game was great. You know what I mean, Matthew?
Yeah.
Because when you're looking at Montreal, you know, and right now, of course, there's a hockey strike, which doesn't really affect me in my mind, because our fans are totally different. But at the end of the day, I think Montreal is capable of having a team and having Canadian local player, because we have a lot of good players locally. And that was one of my demands if I was going to take over the team to start a team in Montreal. But like maybe a city like Toronto could have a team, but more like Mississauga, not really downtown Toronto. But that's why most teams are in a smaller town where you're not really fighting for the entertainment dollar as much as you do in a big city. And if you look at the NBA developmental league, most of the teams that are owned by NBA team now, you know, you just look at the Boston Celtics where Chris Joseph is playing now for the Maine Red Claw. You know what I mean? So they are in Maine, so they know they can get some fans there. So that's the ideas they had of staying kind of away from big city. So Montreal is actually the biggest city that the league has as far as the team is concerned.
We're chatting with Pascal Jobin, the general manager of the Montreal Jazz, playing in the National Basketball League of Canada. Their next home game is this coming Sunday, 4 p.m. at Centre Pierre Charbonneau, of course, in Montreal. Now, Pascal, the first year of the Montreal Matrix was such a success. I thought a lot of local players on that team, some interesting guys that you brought in as well. The fans were there, exciting, you know, dance troops. We had a pretty good announcer who ended up, I guess, going to the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, exactly.
and then things kind of fell apart. We don't have to get into that, but some of the exciting stuff, or some of the exciting players from that team, some of them anyway, that maybe some of the fans connected with, are on this team. I haven't seen the Montreal Jazz as of yet, but I was very, very excited to learn some of the players that are on this team. I remember Louis Patrick Leveros. I remember seeing a couple of exciting dunks in his early years there with the Montreal Matrix. Nice to see him on the team. But the guy that I was most excited to hear that you had brought in was Manix Oriental. Tell the fans about him.
Well, Manix is a you know, bundle of energy, 6'2", combo guard. Was always a borderline, I would say, with the national team. Went head-to-head a couple of times with Jermaine Anderson, who was the national team starter for the last 5 or 6 years, and had great games against him. Maybe because he wasn't really seen as a natural point guard. And you know, Manix, actually, I've known Manix since he was 3 years old. First time I saw Manix, I was a young player at Immaculée Conception Center, and Manix was there because I coached his older brother. It's a family of 4 brothers, and Manix played for me when Sam Dallenberg was playing for me in Montreal at Lucien Pagé. So Manix, there's always been a tie between me and Manix. He went on to Dawson, he went on to New York Tech, he played in overseas, and of course when we started the Matrix, I was happy to have him around. He was kind of contemplating going back overseas, but he said, you know what, let me give it a shot. And you know, we had a great start because we had 2 months of preparation. We were playing twice a day for almost 2 months before our first game. And, you know, unlike this season where we really had about 2 weeks of practice before we went down to St. John's and Moncton to play. So the conditioning is still about a month away compared to the other teams. But Manix right now, like, he's more mature, he's bigger, stronger. Maybe he won't throw down as many dunks as he used to when he was younger. But he's a guy, you know, he didn't play on the road with us in London, which we lost by almost 50 points. And he was there at our first home game, and he made a big difference. You know, not big numbers, but his defense, his tenacity, and what he demands, the respect he demands on defense from the other team, helped us, you know, kind of, you know, really stay close with the best team in the league. We gave them their best game this year. You know, we almost beat them. So, but Manix is really, I'm happy to have him on board, and you know, just to go back to the Matrix, the first guy I really wanted was Juan Mendez. Remember, Juan Mendez was coming out of Niagara.
Yeah, he had set an all-time record of some sort, I remember.
Well, he's still number 1 Canadian scorer in the history of the NCAA for a Canadian player. He's still number 1.
Montrealer.
So, and you know, and his bad luck, I'm kind of lucky because Juan has had some injuries the last couple of years, so he really hasn't tried to go back overseas. And actually, right now, he's starting to get back, and not only game shape, but his health is getting better and better. So I'm kind of lucky. I mean, if Juan is 100%, you know, he's overseas making a lot of money. You know, and to me, that's a plus to have him right now on the team.
All right. Well, there you go. I mean, it's coming up Sunday, 4 o'clock. It's a good atmosphere at Centre Pierre Charbonneau as well. Another interesting local guy is Damien Buckley, a very big Concordia Stinger in his day, certainly. So some good local content. And Pascal, we wish you the best of luck. We'll be having some of the guys on the show, I'm sure, over the next few weeks. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Matthew. I appreciate it.